YouTube, knowledge of self-determination. Back with you guys with more disturbing news, man. Unfortunately, this is the realities of the world we live in, and these are the things that happen. What you guys see in front of you is a picture of the UN flag. The UN is the United Nations. You know, nations, quote-unquote civilized nations around the world come together in unison with the UN to try and promote peace around the world, right? I'm gonna just go ahead and get right into it. UN child sex ring left victims, but no arrests. So, I'm gonna pose this question real quick. So, the UN, the heads of each of all these different countries and ambassadors for these countries come together, right? These people hunt down terrorist cells in other countries and this and the third. They come together in allied force to hunt out, you know, global criminals and things like that. Except when they're the ones who are doing the crimes, nobody's looking for them. Kind of like the Catholic Church and their priests molesting kids, right? I'm gonna go ahead. Port-au-Prince, Haiti. In the ruins of a tropical hideaway where jet setters once sipped rum under the Caribbean sun, the abandoned children tried to make a life for themselves. They begged and scavenged for food, but they never could scrape together enough to beat back the hunger until the UN peacekeepers moved a few blocks away. I'm an idiot. The men, who came from a faraway place and spoke a strange language, offered the Haitian children cookies and other snacks. You hear this? This is how they wrote these children in. Cookies and snacks, right? Sometimes they gave them a few dollars, but the price was high. The Sri Lankan peacekeepers wanted sex from girls and boys as young as 12. Right? Remember, I just did a story about a man, a German man, who broadcasted live on the internet him raping his own daughter. Raping his own daughter. These are the things. This is what, last video, I ended it saying protect the children. We have to protect these children, man. We have to. I'm serious about this, man. We have to protect these children. I'm going to keep going before I get too upset. Quote, I did not even have breasts, end quote, said one girl, or said a girl known as VO1 or V01, victim number 1. She told UN investigators that over the next 3 years, from ages 12 to 15, she had sex with nearly 50 peacekeepers, including a commandant who gave her 75 cents. Sometimes she slept in UN trucks on the base next to the decaying resort. Once again, whose once glamorous buildings were being overtaken by a jungle, and I'm assuming this was a resort that was devastated after the earthquake in Haiti. Man, I didn't want to get, because this is what the Clintons were accused of too, going into Haiti for some peacekeeping mission, but siphoning all of this money. Like, man, I'm gonna keep going. Man. Justice for victims. Let's see, I'm sorry about that. Justice for victims like V01 is rare, or victim number 1. An Associated Press investigation of UN missions during the past 12 years found nearly 2,000 allegations of sexual abuse and exploitation by peacekeepers and other personnel around the world, signaling the crisis is much larger than previously known. More than 300 allegations involve children, the AP found, but only a fraction of the alleged perpetrators served jail time. These are people that the world has entrusted to protect the rights of other people on the planet. Children, the homeless, the disenfranchised. The UN, they're peacekeepers. And they were running a sex ring. This is the same thing that happens in Africa, especially South Africa. These people come over to Africa claiming that they're all about peace. And they're smuggling children out and selling them into sex rings, right? This is what they're doing to our children. We gotta take this shit more seriously. This is what's happening. They do that in South Africa. They do it in Africa, period. But especially South Africa. Because you realize prostitution is legal in South Africa, right? In South Africa, you know, is, what do you say? South Africa is where majority of the Europeans and Asians and East Indians and Arabs gravitate to. I wonder why. I'll continue on. Legally, the UN is in a bind. It has no jurisdiction over peacekeepers, leaving punishment to the countries that contribute the troops. The AP interviewed alleged victims, current and former UN officials, and investigators, and sought answers from 23 countries on the number of peacekeepers who face such allegations. What, if anything, was done to investigate? With rare exceptions, few nations responded to repeated requests, while the names of those found guilty are kept confidential, making accountability impossible to determine. So they're protecting these child molesters, these pedophiles. They're protecting them, right? Because they don't want them to be held accountable for what they've done to these children in this country that was devastated by a natural disaster. These people need help. And for some reason, the people of the world take it upon themselves to go to a black nation and take advantage of the people. Instead of helping them, you're taking advantage of them by giving them 75 cents so you can have sex with a 12-year-old girl. Man, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. I cannot help but express my frustration and anger with this. Without agreement for widespread reform and accountability from the UN's member states, solutions remain elusive. So we know this is happening. We got the names of people that's happening, but we're not going to give them to you. We know this is a problem, but we don't really want any answers to this because, you know, fuck it. They're just black people in Haiti. Who cares, right? Here in Haiti, at least 134 Sri Lankan peacekeepers exploited 9 children. I'm going to repeat that. Here in Haiti, at least 134 Sri Lankan peacekeepers exploited 9 children in a sex ring from 2004 to 2007, according to an internal UN report obtained by the AP. In the wake of the report, 114 peacekeepers were sent home. None was ever imprisoned. See, we talk about the mistreatment of black people in the United States, which is a real thing. We talk about that, it's a real thing. And we watch how the American government sits by silently and does nothing. And now we see this happening, not now, this has always been happening, but this is happening all over the world. This is happening all over the world. And it seems that people are even more emboldened now to mistreat people of African descent, or, man, they seem more emboldened to do things to us. Here in this country with the cops killing us. In other countries, the kids being kidnapped and sold into child slavery. Other countries, the kids are being sold into prostitution or forced into prostitution. Or like in Haiti, peacekeepers are coming over there with the disguise of helping the people rebuild their nation, but you're paying kids 5 cents a pop so you can damage them forever. In March, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres announced new measures to tackle sexual abuse and exploitation by UN peacekeepers and other personnel. But the proclamation had a depressingly familiar ring. More than a decade ago, the United Nations commissioned a report that promised to do much the same thing. Yet most of the reforms never materialized. For a full 2 years after those promises were made, the children in Haiti were passed around from soldier to soldier. In the years since, peacekeepers have been accused of sexual abuse the world over. So, we have a president who says that he can walk up to any woman he wants and just grab her crotch whenever he wants. We have the UN, a quote-unquote peacekeeping organization who is literally harboring sexual predators and pedophiles. These people are sexual predators. So the people who are the heads of our countries, right? The people who are assigned to protect the world and keep peace in the world and help people who are in dire need of it and provide humanitarian aid are actually the head of one of the most powerful sex rings on the planet. Are you kidding me? How the fuck can you ever trust the UN when they go into black countries and raping the children? How can you ever trust the UN? And believe you, and let me tell you, I bet you they're not doing it to just black kids. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. But even the mainstream media isn't going to put a case like that on blast. Why? Because it implicates too many powerful people when they do that, right? Too many countries. Too many people get their dirty laundry aired when that kind of stuff happens. So what happens? Again, holding contrast to the Catholic Church. You keep it quiet. You don't release their names. You move their ass to another location. You protect yours and say fuck the victims, right? They're just collateral damage. They're fodder. Fuck them. So I'm going to go ahead and, because this is a pretty long story. So this is going to be broken up into a lot of different parts. Because this is big, man. This is a pretty big, long article. And if I try to sit here and make a video for the entire article, the video is gonna be way too long. But stay tuned, man. In fact, I'm gonna read this one last piece here about the sister right here. She's actually featured in the paper. In this August 11, 2016 photo, lovely I'm sorry for Harassme, I'm sorry for destroying her last name, 26, sits in front of her mother's house in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. She says she was one of several women who worked as prostitutes for Sri Lankan peacekeepers with the UN. She's 26. 10 years ago, right? She was 16. She was 16. She was still a child. She was 16. And it could have been happening before then, right? Could have started when she was 15. 14 even, right? But yeah, man, we gotta protect our children, man. We gotta protect our children. We see now our children aren't safe from anybody. Sexual predators in the home, sexual predators in the community, you know what I'm saying? Sexual predators in uniform, and then we got sexual predators as head of the United Nations. Well, not head of the United Nations, but sexual predators who are soldiers for the United Nations. People who are going around the world trying to spread peace and help out people who have been devastated by natural disasters or economic downfalls have to worry about their children being molested. Man. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the story. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. If you guys have any more detailed information about stories like this, please don't be afraid to share that information. Like and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.